said to me, you are on your own. If you get sick, if you need anything, do not call me for help. I am not going to be there for you. I said okay, and I never did ask my dad for anything. I went back to Anguilla with $0. All I had was that plane ticket, my suitcase with my same old clothes that I had, on my own, no family, nothing. I'm going to tell you guys exactly how that experience went for me, leaving one island to the next at the age of 18. I bought a quarter acre of land for $20,000 US.
Tired of the wasting, she just want my love. Say she tired of the waiting, over and out. Girl, you need a soldier to show you the route. Pull you in close, areola to mount. My love, no corona, Ebola could out. Whenever you're alone and you're unoccupied and you're feeling hot inside, hit me up on my line. One time.
It's your girl SK again. I'm still in my bedroom, y'all. This is a video that I did straight after the being abandoned in Jamaica video, and I figured why not just go straight into it about my experiences of moving to a foreign country, Anguilla, with $0 in my pocket at the age of 18 years old, with no family by my side, no one to help me or any of that stuff. So this is my story. I hope you guys really enjoyed, pay attention, and make sure you subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and make sure you leave your comment down below, guys. So for those of you that are new to my channel, my name is Shauna K, but SK for short. Welcome to Life with SK. If you watched the previous video about when I was abandoned in Jamaica, you know this is the video leading directly after that, as I said before. So I was 18 years old. My friend decided to send me a plane ticket for me to move from Jamaica to come back to Anguilla. So just a little brief backstory. I was born in Jamaica, but I moved to Anguilla when I was 7 years old, and I stayed in Anguilla until I was about 16. And at the age of 16, my dad took me to Jamaica, where he left me. I'll leave the link to that video in the comment section, and it's also going to be in the description, so I won't get too much into that video. So basically, my friend from Anguilla decided that, you know, she's like, why don't you come back home? Because obviously things were not going the way that it should in Jamaica. It was like a real struggle for me with employment. I was dealing with heartbreak, and, you know, with my dad not being a dad, and I just accepted that offer, and I went back to Anguilla. Didn't have any money at all, so basically she bought this plane ticket. I got on the plane, landed in St. Martin because there are no direct flights from Jamaica to get into Anguilla. Got to St. Martin. They were looking for me at the airport. They didn't recognize me, and I didn't recognize them because we didn't see each other for 2 years, guys. We didn't have like smartphones where we could just like video call each other all the time or any of that stuff. So the last time that I did see those friends and they saw me was like 2.5 years. They picked me up, and as I said before, I had $0. Didn't know how I was gonna survive by myself because I didn't have any family in Anguilla. My dad had one sister, she lived in Anguilla, but apart from that, it was just me going back to Anguilla on my own. And my friend said to me, I don't have any space where I live, because she had a child and she was still living at home. So she said, but my grandmother, there's a spare room at my grandmother's house and you can live there. She, you know, you don't have to pay anything. So moved into her grandmother's house, no job. They were really nice to me. When we got to Anguilla, so my other friend, she paid for the boat ride, because when you got the plane from Jamaica to go to St. Martin, we have to take the ferry, so a boat to Anguilla. And my other friend, she paid for that boat ride because, as I said, $0. Got to Anguilla, and the friend who bought me the plane ticket, she gave me, I think it was about $40 US. She just gave it to me, and I was like, what was this for? And she's like, just to give it to you because you don't have any money. And I was like, wow. And I said, thank you, you know, that was just so nice of her. And got settled in her grandmother's place, and you guys, the very next day I got a job interview. So I had another friend who had arranged this for me. So my friend, she was already looking out for jobs for me before I came to Anguilla. She filled out a few applications and, you know, stuff like that. And I had a job interview the next day. So I think I landed in Anguilla around the it was before Christmas, just before Christmas time. And I got a job interview. It was at a hotel. I think it's a 5-star hotel. Anyways, it was to be a waitress. So I did a job interview there. Never did an interview my whole life, because remember, I graduated from high school June 2006, and this was December 2006. So that was my very first job interview with, you know, just to be a waitress. Guys, I got the job, and I think I started the job the next week or something, and I I quit after 2 days. I know who does that. You have to do whatever job that's there. I took it. It was really hard, guys. See, I quit because it just wasn't for me. I could remember, like, you know, having to hold the tray up like this. I started having shoulder pain, y'all. I just couldn't. Anyways, so my dad had a bank account in Anguilla. I basically went to check it out because I know that my name was always on his bank account, and basically there was some money on that account. I think it had about $300 on the account, and remember, I didn't have a job, so I took that money and I went and I got some clothes for work. So I was just hoping that I would get a job eventually, because I did apply. My friend helped fill out an application to get a job with the government of Anguilla to be a clerical officer or something like that. So I got that money. I bought some clothes for work, so I didn't go partying and none of that stuff. I actually used that money for good, and I bought some clothes for work, and yeah, and that held me over because I was unemployed between December to February. So I was at another friend's house, and she was working with the government, and at the time she was on the phone with the lady from Human Resources, the teacher who taught us in high school. So then she told her that, oh, you know, Shauna K is here, and she's like, oh, and then she went into, oh yeah, because I have an application here for her, and actually I'm going through it and whatever. And then she put me on the phone, and I was like, hi. She said to me, I'm looking at your application. She's like, can you start tomorrow? And guys, bearing in mind, I never had a job like before, apart from the waitressing job, for 2 days, and this was within the government as in administration, right? So I would be a clerical officer. And she said, I have a position, it's temporary, but don't worry about that, because there would be a lot of positions that would be coming up and you'd be made permanent. So I said, yes, I'll take it. Where is it? And it was at the airport, guys, as a clerical officer at the airport. So I took that job. So I worked at the airport for 2 months. I got transferred to the Department of Agriculture. So I worked in several different departments while I was in Anguilla, and that salary, guys, I think I was earning like 2,000 and something EC dollars, which was, I think, equivalent to maybe like $1,000 US at the time. My friend's grandmother, she wasn't charging me for any rent or any of that stuff, but the condition of, you know, living there, she looked at me, I think, more of a child. So, you know, 9 o'clock, she'd be locking her doors, and she'd be like, who's else gonna stay out? If you're not in this house by 9 o'clock, then you're gonna stay outside. So she'd be locking the doors, and my friend, her uncle was still living there at the time. So I would just ring him and I'd be like, can you unlock the door for me? So she wouldn't give me a key. Okay, I'm a child, I'm living with her, be in by 9 o'clock. The door stays open until 9. You walk in, you lock the door, and that's it. Guys, that situation just became I don't know. She didn't like, okay. So started the job, the government job, the 3rd of February, and then I ran into this guy, which is Shakayla's dad, February 7th. He was working at the airport as a firefighter, and basically we hit it off, and, you know, we started talking and all that stuff, and yeah, we were together. I knew him before, though. I knew, anyways, that's another story for another day. So basically, my friend's grandmother, she didn't like that I was even seeing anyone. She was like, oh, you're not gonna be in this house and coming in getting all pregnant. You're not gonna be coming in this house wait past 9 o'clock at night. You're gonna be in by 9. You're not gonna be having no man and getting pregnant in here, because if you get pregnant you have to leave. And I would just laugh it off. And you know, me and my friend, that was her grandmother, I would like, can you just talk to your grandmother? And she would be like, grandmother, what happened to you? You know, that's the Anguillian, you know, that's how they talk in Anguilla. She's like, what happened to you? Why you don't just leave the girl alone? And anyways, whatever. We just used to laugh about it because she was a lovely lady. And it's just a typical Caribbean thing. Parents tell you that those things all the time, that you're not gonna come and get pregnant in their house and and you know, so I was not even sweating that. Anyways, I ended up moving out of that house because of, it was just an ongoing thing, and with my head I was like, I'm not taking this, I cannot take it. So I moved out of that house and I went to live with so my dad was married in Anguilla and he got divorced, but you know, I was very close to my stepsister, which I called her my sister. I love you so much. I love her. So I asked if I could come and live with her, and she said, of course you can. You know, so I went to live with her, and I think the only bill I had to pay or was contributing to was the electricity bill. Girl, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where my mind is at. That's what I can remember. I didn't really stay there. I think I stayed there for a few months, and then obviously because I was in this relationship, things just got up to another level where, you know, we started living together. I started living with this guy, with Shaquila's dad. Yeah, so I ended up moving out. But the funny thing about that is, like, I didn't move out like pack stuff and move. I basically used to spend a lot of nights there at his house, and I would just leave things there until eventually everything was there. Ladies, tell me if you can relate to that. Like, you leave a pair of slippers, you leave an underwear, you leave a shirt, until it just end up that everything is there. So that's how that happened, and I ended up living with him, but we were still living in his parents' house. Anyways, all that happened within like 2-3 months or whatever. I ended up getting my driver's license as well, guys. Yeah, I ended up getting my driver's license. So in a nutshell, moved there with $0, got a job interview the very next day, got a job as a waitress, quit that job after 2 days, unemployed again for another month, started working with the government of Anguilla. Then I went to get my driver's license, and I was made permanent, because those positions were temporary administration positions until they just made it a permanent post, because the person who I was covering for, they actually went and they got another job. So things went really smoothly for me, and I'm gonna thank God, because not everyone's transition is, you know, that smooth. And fortunately for me, that happened, because if you watch the previous video, you would see that my dad told me that he basically washed his hands off me. If I moved back to Anguilla, he was not going to help me with anything. And you know, there were times that I didn't have money, but I had a really good support system. My friends supported me, my stepsister supported me, and then I met, you know, I got with Shaquila's dad, and him and his family, they were a huge support for me. So, you know, and I think in a sense too, deep down everyone felt sorry for me, because I didn't have anyone like a dad or a mom to call to say, hey, I'm short of such and such. So yeah, that's what happened. I'm just gonna add one thing in there as well. So when I moved to Anguilla at the age of 18, by the time I was about around 20 years old or something like that, I bought a 1/4 acre of land for $20,000 US, guys. I got a loan from the bank, and I purchased a 1/4 acre of land, and in my mind I was gonna build a house. You know, and I'm just gonna say that, you know, I left from Jamaica and I started building myself up. You know, even though I wasn't earning a lot of money, I still ended up, you know, getting that loan, and I was paying for that loan. I think that loan was about, so for that loan I was paying $280 a month for that. Okay, so the thing about living in Anguilla, it's a very small island, and they depend on tourism a lot. So the main industry is tourism and, you know, fishing. And so working in a hotel, it's most people tend to go to work to the hotel. So basically, if you don't have a degree, and I'm not gonna be, some people might not like me saying this, but if you do not have a degree, living in Angola can be extremely hard if you don't have that support system as well. For me, that was my thing, because I had jobs, the government job that I had in Angola, let's say I was earning like just a bit under $1,500, and but basically if you work in the hotel, the wages are not that great, I would say, because I remember getting a job at the hotel. The wages at the hotel is not that great, but the service charge that you get on top of that from the guests, you know, because every guest, when they pay for the rooms or dinner and whatever they pay a percentage, you know, so service charge. So at the end, when you get your wages and then the service charge on top of the wages, that money is really good, guys. But I did not want to work in a hotel, so I stayed with the government job, earning this bit of money. And you can't really go that high. The highest that you can go in government, I think I was a clerical officer, and you go up to a senior clerical. So I did get like a senior clerical officer position at the Department of Probation. Hey, Miss J. It was really hard living in Angola. Even though I got an amazing opportunity to go back and, you know, make a life for myself, so I was able to get a driver's license. I was driving a car. I went out to live on my own, you know, with my boyfriend at the time, and we ended up having a baby. We moved out from his parents' house because that made it easier for us. We didn't have to pay rent. But when we got a baby, we decided we're gonna move out on our own and, you know, pay rent. And to give you like the cost of living in Angola, to me it's very expensive as well. So at the time, I was earning like $1,300 US, and the rent was about $500 US, and that was just a good deal because I knew the lady, and she was like, okay, I'll rent this 2-bedroom house to you for $500. So I'm earning $1,300 US a month. The rent is $500 US a month. The car that we were driving, that was $400 US a month. And we were living just basic lives. We weren't able to do things that we wish that we could do, like travel and, you know, all that stuff. We would have to pay all these bills. So we'd pay rent, we'd pay the car loan. Then we had Shakayla. My mom came to Angola to live with us because I did send from my mom and from Jamaica, and she was living with us. So we had my mom, we had all these other bills to pay. And when we were at the end of the month, when we had to pay those bills, we weren't left with a lot of money. We were living, most of the times we were living paycheck to paycheck, and just being able to, it was very hard to save. And after a while, I was like thinking about moving to England. I started looking into different opportunities, and Shakayla's dad, his brother at the time, and his wife, they were encouraging us that you should come to England. Why don't you give England a try? There's a lot of opportunities here. You guys would, you know. And then in my mind, I was like, okay, maybe we don't have to continue living from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. So even though we were content with what we had, we knew that we did not want to be in that position for a very long time, because there were often times where we would fall short and we'd have to borrow money. And I had a goal in mind, guys, and I was like, we're gonna move to England. We're gonna move to England. I remember it had been a few years where I was still paying for that land, that loan, and I said it's so hard for us after we pay all these bills and this rent and this land. So I had a friend, and she managed to just buy this land off me. So basically I got the money that I got back. I was still paying the loan, guys, because it was like a 5-year loan or something like that. I can't remember. You know, I said, I don't want this land anymore. I prefer to buy a house. I'm gonna move to England, blah blah blah. And she took that land off me, and I got back what I put in. with that money. So I got about 8,000 US dollars for that, because we were living paycheck to paycheck. And you know, we started exploring our options, as I said, and you know, England started to become an option. I didn't want to continue living from paycheck to paycheck. I wanted to further my education. I wanted to do university and all that stuff. And you know, I did my research and I said, you know what, England is the place. We could actually make this thing work. We can move to England and start over, you know what I mean? And so basically I took that money that I got back from the land, the $8,000, and I bought plane tickets, came to England to visit, to see what it was like. And as I did a move into England video, y'all can check that out. I did mention that I came to England to see what it was like. We went back and I resigned from my job, so I had that savings there from the money from my land. And when I resigned from government, there was monies that the government owed me. I think when it added up, the government ended up owing me over 6,000 and something US dollars. So I got that money back. I got the money from my land, and then I also got money from what I contributed to the pension fund. Okay, so I had some good money. So that's, you know, we had money along with little savings, because then we started to save, because we said, okay, we visited England, we liked it, we had a plan in mind, that's what we were gonna do, and went back home, resigned, had all these savings, and packed up and made my way to England. Again, went in blind and came to England. And I'm gonna do after this video, I'm going to do a proper video, guys, explaining the entire process of how I ended up in England, because as I said to you, I really needed that. I needed that financial stability in my life, and in Anguilla it wasn't happening, and it wasn't going to happen, guys. So I had to leave Anguilla. Not that it's not a lovely place, and not that I'm not grateful for everything that I was able to afford and achieve there, you know, but I needed more. I wanted more. You have to keep climbing it, because even though I'm in England now, guys, I'm not gonna get into that story. So I'm going to do a video of the processes of basically moving to England. So the next video is basically going to be about the things you need to know before you move to England, because there's so much that you need to know that I didn't know. So even though I did a load of research before I came, and I had people helping me with, you know, all this information and all that stuff. Sorry guys, my lighting is going, the sun is set and it's dark. So yes, I'm gonna end the video here, guys. So that was my experience of moving to from Jamaica to Anguilla with $0. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, comment down below, tell me about any experience that you ever had as well. I know a lot of us migrated, and you know, it would be interesting to hear about your experience of when you migrated to another country. Make sure you stay tuned for the next video of the things you need to know before moving to the UK. All right. Stay blessed, guys, and once again, thank you so much for watching. Bye.